Friendly greetings again, Torley here. One of my favorite things to do is listen and to act on useful criticism. Most criticism, I believe, is trash. And I don't mean that in the harshest way possible. I just mean that you aren't going to make much use of it. Like, for example, people say, "You suck. What can you do with that?" And even constructive criticism isn't always necessarily practical. That's why at changethis.com a little while ago, I had a manifesto contributed. And it's called "To criticize is to publicize." Anytime someone mocks you, even derisively, they give you attention. They bring part of their mind onto yours. And the more people you can get to do that, it's in fact better. The more people we can be aware of you, because then they'll listen to you. Even though they claim, "Oh, I don't like you, I hate you, you suck," they're still paying attention. If they didn't think you mattered, they would pay attention. So let's look at this closer. Let's look at criticism. I love listening to the criticism, which is so brilliant and like gems. They're very rare. Someone points out especially a simple thing I could have done, a small thing that makes a big difference. Like, for example, if I'm designing a web page and the layout, one of the buttons is slightly hard to find. It's just a few pixels even too far to the left. And it's too hard to click. And this person and their friends, they're all missing it. So they come to me, and they can even be very coarse about it. It's not just the tone and presentation that matters to me. It's the actual meat, the content. Of course, it helps if someone's nice. It helps the spoonful of sugar go down. But what you really want to look for, what I certainly look for, is that sort of criticism where I can grasp it and you become better at this through experience. And I go, "Hey, can I make use of this? If so, great. I'm going to praise them. I'm going to say thank you so much. And that is wonderful." But if they're not saying anything useful, if they haven't done their research, they're just sending you on a wild goose chase. If they're saying something abstract you can't make sense of, you tell them, substantiate this. Make some sense of this. Explain to me what you mean. Tell me more because I wish to learn about you. I am curious. And it's always a wonderful sign of intelligence when someone is curious. Stupid people are not curious. That's why there's prejudice. That's why there's ignorance in the world. Stupid people do not ask questions that way. Stupid people are self-interested and they don't want to learn about what's happening elsewhere in the world. They care about themselves. They may want to hear themselves speak, but they are stupid for a reason. One of my favorite things to do with asking questions is, hey, I may be stupid at first, and often I am. I don't know it, but after I ask the question and I learn it, so there's sort of the gap where you're afraid to ask, but once you get the answer, even a half answer, it'll help you. Even if it's a half answer, to extend the analogy, you may be floating over in a hang glider and you get the rest of the answer and you're like, whee, psh, then you have your full answer. And life's always like that. You always learn in these small parts that make a big difference, that assemble together, these small pebbles. There is the negative saying of death by 1,000 cuts. But what about life with 1,000 bandages? Okay, that doesn't quite work. But you know what I mean. You heal all in parts. You put yourself together. You regenerate and grow like that. So that's why I think a lot of criticism, you just don't really have to pay attention to it. It's going to be the same. It's going to be the same vapid generic crap. You want to look for innovative criticism, for lack of a better word. You want to look for the types of not just words but actions. You want to look for people who criticize you, who criticize themselves and others, and who do a great deal with it. People who are unproductive are really not to be trusted because they procrastinate. They don't get things done. They may have things worth saying, but it's up to them to act first on it. And when they've achieved something, then you can look and say, hey, and then you can join forces, perhaps, or you look closer to yourself and you look at what you get done. But if you're procrastinating on something, you can't even trust yourself. That's why it's important, like I said earlier in one of my earlier talks, it's so important to create, to make, to give birth, to go forth, innovate.